Many of us are familiar with places in Equestria that you never visit, or creatures that you should always avoid. Old Appaloosa and Shattered Hoof are crawling with raiders and slavers. Hellhounds roam Old Olney. This is common knowledge in the Wasteland, but there are some places that you would see as pedestrian. Places that you would not realize are lethal until it's too late to escape them. Well, that's what this segment of the guide is about. And I'm going to start off with one of the stranger things of our dear post-apocalyptia. I'm talking, of course, about Amoria's Loins. Fair warning, I'd be lying if I said this came with all fun and no history. Having spent many years listening to DJ Pony's broadcast, I can guess that most of you are familiar with the works of the musician Amoria. Now, I don't want to betray my age for the cute stallions reading this book, but I was at the very first Amoria concert at a small Zebration town in the Baobab Forest. She was having difficulty in booking a location for her first performance as a professional. For some reason, no pony would take her. So she walked right into the center of that town and began to play. Every zebra and every pony fell silent, and she became the only thing in the world to us. It was a wonderful performance. Amoria's soft voice and cello making it ever so simple to just slip away into the music. The next day, the town offered her an officially organized concert, one that would have landed a major payment for her. The kind of early career boost a musician would have killed for. She asked for the Emerald Grass Glade at the site of the town, a singularly beautiful place with a single baobab tree in the center. But the town's zebras would not allow it. It was the axis of shamanistic magic, a holy place to them. I saw something sway over Amoria that night, something that drew her to the glade. At midnight, she walked into the glade and began to sing. Her quiet song, almost impossible to hear without straining your ears, but hear it I did. And my word, was it a filthy, filthy song. Thinking about it now would make me blush if the blood still flowed to my cheeks. Perhaps because she believed no pony to be listening, she wanted to take the opportunity to sing this song that she'd never sing in public. Then she left, leaving the town for the next one on her list, the ever-going cycle of an unsatisfied artist. And for the longest time, that night was little more than a fond memory and a funny story. Until 20 years ago, I returned to that town to find a towering wall in a ring around the glade, hastily erected from wood of the forest. I entered the town only to be greeted by terrified ponies and warnings to stay away. But that was not the strange thing about the town. Not the thing that disturbed me. No. Every pony there had severed their ears from their heads. Some of it was recent, with fillies and colts who still had dried blood matting the sides of their fur where their ears used to be. They all wore padded bandages around their heads, all pointing at me, possibly expecting me to do the same. This story took some time to sort out, but I discovered that the tree in the center of the glade had changed since my last visit to the town. It started when the zebras left the stable near the town, finding the home of their ancestors waiting for them, untouched and unpopulated by raiders and monsters. At first, the ponies believed this was the work of Wasteland Craze maniacs, the kind their scouts had warned them of, but everything changed when their overmare claimed to hear the singing in her head, a soft singing of Amoria's Loins. Then the overmare approached the tree, climbing up and over the mound of corpses, displacing the bodies of raiders, radroaches, and hellhounds, until finally she reached the tree. She began to sing a song that many of the town zebras described as incredibly filthy. But as she pressed herself against the tree, her voice changed. The singing voice was not hers. One of the mares recognized it from an old record she inherited. It was Amoria's voice. In a sudden moment, the branches of the tree swayed violently, wrapping themselves around her and squeezing tightly until, with a crunch, she popped. Blood spattered over her fellow stable dwellers, and as her singing stopped, they began to scream. All but one of them. all but her sister and her daughter, her only blood relatives. They did not scream, they began to sing. Approaching the tree, they sang the same song, climbing over the remains of their Overmare corpse, her blood soaking into the fur of their hooves until, like the Overmare, they were killed. In the years since then, the zebras of the town had lived in fear of the tree and of the glade. The tree summons a pony to its roots, and then, once it's begun to consume them, drinking their blood through the soil to keep its evergreen grass healthy, it begins to sing the song over to their relatives, summoning them to its deadly allure. I'm not sure what happened to the tree or the glade. It's not as though I understand magic fully, so perhaps you can figure out why the tree warped in the way that it did. In a world that was warped with radiation, it's sad to think that even our fondest, most simple memories can be distorted as well.